in December, and I have a very, very long flight. So I decided to spoil myself by buying a lot of books on my Kindle. I haven't been reading a lot on it lately just because I had a lot of physical copies of books. But I do have to say that I actually miss reading on it. I think it's so convenient, and like, I don't know if any other readers can relate to this, but my wrists, they start to hurt, especially if I've had a lot of like hardcover books and I have to like force them open. That actually hurts. It's a very embarrassing injury to get, but that's just the facts of being a reader. So I'm actually really excited to get some books on my Kindle, and I've made a list of the books that I want to read. Like books I think will be perfect for the flight and also perfect for December. And I'm also thinking about maybe bringing it to like cafes around the city, and then I will sit and read books there with a nice cup of coffee. So I'm just looking for the perfect kind of books for that. And maybe I should say where I'm going. I'm going to Seoul, South Korea. I've lived there before, so it's always really nice to return, and it's like a city I know really well. So I also know what kind of like vibe I should go for, which makes it a lot easier too. So I have a little list of books that I have already bought or some that I am considering, and I would love to hear your thoughts if you've read any of them, and if there are other books you think that I should check out. But I'll start with the ones that are not Christmas related, just because I feel like it might be a nice way to start out with like late autumn books and then jump into Christmas books. The very first book is Kindling by Bonnie Woods. And I've looked at this at the bookstore before, and then when I found it on Kindle and it was really cheap, I knew I had to get it. It doesn't say too much about what the book is about, to be honest. It's just about this city girl, as far as I'm concerned, who moves into this cabin in the woods, and I think it's in Scotland. And then of course there's a lumberjack, and he's like, you can borrow my cabin, but you can't disturb my work. And obviously that's not what's gonna happen. And I'm assuming they're gonna fall for each other. And it kind of sounds like it's like a grumpy sunshine trope. That would make a lot of sense, I think, if you look at like the two characters. So that one I will definitely start out by reading. I have another autumnal read as well that I just forgot was on my Kindle, and I haven't read it yet. And that is Coming Home to Starr's Fall by Kate Hewitt. And this book is about a woman who opens up I think it's like a pet bakery, so with like baked treats for dogs and stuff like that. And she is like kind of struggling with her business, and I think the grumpy bookstore owner across the street is not helping with that at all. And apparently she has like some sort of secret that no one knows about in the town, but the answer to that secret might be in the bookstore, if I understood it correctly. So it kind of sounds like it's like a grumpy sunshine trope again, and it takes place in this very small town. I got this one recommended in one video I watched here on YouTube, and I think it was about like autumn books that have Stars Hollow vibes, so Gilmore Girl vibes. And I will link the video below because there are so many great recommendations in that video if you are into that sort of like genre and that kind of vibe. And then I have two Christmas books. The first one is Snowden by Cathrine Walsh, and I have heard about this one before. I've definitely seen the cover, and I also think she has two different Christmas books. I think this is the second one, but they are standalones. And I am considering, if I really like this one, then I think I'm going to buy the other one as well, because they weren't that expensive on Kindle either. In this one, we follow a woman. She returns back home for Christmas. A few years prior, she left, I think, her fiance at the altar. I don't know if it was like at the church or before that, but she's had like failed relationships, and she's a little worried about going back home. And then she meets this other guy who also is fearing getting back home. Everyone has these expectations to him, I think. And they decide that they're gonna fake date each other for the Christmas season, so they can like bring each other to their family's gatherings, and then that way they can hopefully avoid getting a lot of questions about like relationships and people pressuring them into dating and all these kind of things. And then I think they snow in. I'm assuming that from the title. And yeah, I guess that they slowly fall for each other. That kind of feels like the thing when it comes to fake dating, that is always fake in the beginning, and then they start dating for real. So yeah, it just seems like the perfect Christmas book, and I really enjoy the cover too. Like it looks like a lot of fun, so I'm excited about that one. And the second one is called Love Your Latke, and unfortunately this one is not that cheap on Kindle, but I think it's because it's a very new book. I read the blurb of the book and it just sounded amazing. Like I was looking through, Goodreads had this list of Christmas books released this year, and that was on the list, and that's definitely the one that stood out to me the most. So I am super curious about this one, and I'm definitely going to get it. I think it might be one of the ones that I'm the most excited about reading too. So in this one, it's more focused on Hanukkah, and we follow our main character who I think runs a cafe. She's on the board for this little town she lives in Vermont, where they want to make a festival, and I think they want to make it like Hanukkah inspired. And since she's the only Jew on the board, she's kind of in charge of it. And there's this guy at her cafe who is always like really jolly and happy-go-lucky, and apparently like that frustrates her because she's built up some emotional walls. And then she realizes that she's not the only Jew in their city. He's also a Jew, and he can actually help her with this because his family knows a lot of like local vendors that she will need to contact in order to make this festival happen. So they decide that like they have to fake dates so he can bring her back to his family's place for Christmas, and he can meet all these vendors and other contacts in order to make this festival successful. And I'm really excited about this one because it kind of sounds like maybe she's the grump and he's the sunshine. And I really enjoy when it's that way around instead of the other one, which is, I think, something we see a lot. I also really enjoy sunshine tropes, to be honest. That is like my ultimate favorite, I think. But yeah, I'm excited to learn about why she has these emotional walls, and also just in general excited to read about a sunshine man. And also really excited about like the Jewish perspective and Hanukkah and all these things. And I think the title is super cute too, and that was definitely what pulled me in, and also the cover. This might be a total overkill because I think 4 books is more than enough. I am typically the person on the flight who hides behind my hoodie, and then I wear noise cancelling headphones, and then I just sleep because I do not enjoy being on a plane. And if I sleep, the time passes way quicker. So I'll just like wake up every once in a while, look at the time. There's still a lot of time left. I'm just going to go back to sleep. So I'm not even sure that I'll read a lot on the plane. And I have no idea how much time I will have to read while I am in Seoul. But it would just be nice to have a few books ready just in case. So I'm also considering buying all of Madison Wright's first series. So, and it's in this Nashville series. There are 3 different books called Just Go With It, Just Between Us, and Just Friends. And I will admit that Just Friends is the one I'm the most curious about and most excited to read, because again, it's friends to lovers, and that's my ultimate favorite. So yeah, I really want to just jump to that one, but I feel like I should read the others as well, just because they're taking place in like the same series and the same city. I can't remember which book is about what story. I just read about all of them and I completely forgot everything again. So I'm going to put them up, all of them on the screen, and I'm going to write the main plots for all the books, and then hopefully that's going to work. I just remember the last one is 2 friends who start dating. Because she's been dumped by her ex-boyfriend, she asked her best friend if he can like help her out with like getting back into the dating world, and her best friend has had a crush on her forever, so he's kind of like seen this as maybe the opportunity for her to finally realize that he's been right next to her all the time. So I'm assuming they're gonna develop that friendship into something more throughout the book. Because I know there's one of the other books that is about like this, I think he's a YouTube star, things are not going so well, and then a picture of him and his really close friend is released and people think they're dating, and then they kind of have to like spin it so that they are dating, because I think it's something that like helps his image. I'm super excited about picking up these books, and I already have playlists ready that I can listen to on the flight and then have these books as well. So I'm hoping that I can bring a little bit of Christmas joy onto the plane, because I will be traveling in December, and yeah, I just really want to make it a good trip and an enjoyable trip. So those are some of the books that I'm hoping to read in December as well. I think just in general, I highly recommend, like if you travel a lot and you travel far, to bring your Kindle, because it's so much easier than bringing a lot of books. That's what I normally do, and then I fill up my suitcase with books as well. But this time I'm going there not buying any books, because that's why I bought a Kindle in the first place, so I wouldn't have to do that anymore. And yeah, it's just so convenient. I think I'm gonna make a video at one point about like my experience with physical books and Kindle books and library books, because I think all three of them have all their like pros and cons, and I really use them in different ways, I think. And I enjoy all three. I love to support authors by buying physical books, also because I think it looks amazing when you have them. I love the feeling of them. I love my Kindle for its convenience, especially living in Denmark, where we don't always have all titles available in the bookstores. It's really nice that I can get access to them with one click. And yeah, I love supporting our local libraries as well. So I'm gonna make a video about that at one point for sure. But yeah, if you have any recommendations for Christmas time, and maybe you know about like special sales on Kindle, please let me know. I would love to hear recommendations, and just hear about like maybe your favorite Christmas books, because I feel like there's so many out there and it's really hard to tell which ones are worth reading. So yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!